Welcome to OCR News Weekly. Today is Friday, June 2nd, 2017. I'm your host, Margaret Schlachter. This week on the show, we have Tough Mudder and CBS announced Tough Mudder X. The International Federation of Gymnastics debuts their obstacle sprint course in France, and Jessie Graff sets to advance to the next round of American Ninja Warrior. Again, I'm Margaret Schlachter, and you're joining us on the live broadcast, or if you're listening to this on iTunes later on, you're listening to the rebroadcast, but you are listening to us live here on Mud Run Guide. I'm joined on the broadcast this week with our social media desk person, Bonnie Wilson, to share how the community is reacting to this week's news as well. We're going to start off this week with Tough Mudder X. We started this week with the announcement that Tough Mudder regarding a new deal with CBS. The two companies have come together to further their broadcast partnership with the creation of Tough Mudder X. For those that have not heard of Tough Mudder X yet, it is a 1 mile, 10 obstacle, and 10 workout station race. Up for grabs is $50,000 in cash that'll be split between the top male and top female athlete winning the race. Going on down the line below that will be entries into World's Toughest Mudder and other prizes. So currently the race is set to take place in July in the Twin Cities here in the United States, and will be filmed by the CBS crew and will be broadcast late August on CBS and then repeats on CBS Sports Network. Tough Mudder is currently accepting applications for racers interested in a chance to compete. At this point now, I'm going to turn over to the social media desk where we talk to Bonnie, who is going to give us a reaction of what what our community has been saying about the Tough Mudder X announcement. So Bonnie, thanks for joining us. And what's everybody saying about, Bonnie just got cut off for a second, but we'll stay with that. So moving along, we'll go back to Bonnie when she gets in. The second story comes from the International Federation of Gymnastics. In Baku recently, the International Federation of Gymnastics announced the decision to give in-principle approval for the inclusion of a new FIG discipline based on obstacle course competitions. So following their February decision regarding the development of a discipline along the lines of obstacle racing, the FIG's Executive Committee and Council decided to look at including these new events in their World Cup Series in 2018 and 19 and the World Championships in 2020. The FIG experts are deciding to include two different events. The first one would be an obstacle course sprint, which is a race against the clock, and the second would be an obstacle course freestyle, which is more of a performance-based event. Bonnie's back with us, so we're going to cut over to Tough Mudder X with her right now. So Bonnie, thanks for being here, and what are you hearing over on the social media world about Tough Mudder X? Looks like Bonnie's connection's having a little bit of trouble again. We'll go back to me then. All right, the course. So talking again, we're going back to FIG and talking again. The first event was actually held just over this past weekend over in France, serving as a model of the proposed urban cluster that they're looking at for the Tokyo Olympics, with representatives from the IOC present to look at the new trends as well, and how this style of obstacle racing competition may play into the Olympics. So FIG, which is the International Federation of Gymnastics, has currently partnered with the Movement International de Parcours, freestyling at du déplacement. Sorry, it's the French version. And then as well as the Apex School of Movement in the US and Jump Freestyle in the Netherlands. Over the weekend, the International Obstacle Racing Union posted photos of the event, which ended up looking more like a cross between a slope style event, a BMX course that was definitely in an urban environment, no mud. It was a short course, and we'll see. It looks like Bonnie's having technical issues, so it's just going to be me on this podcast today. If you have any comments you want to put in, you can comment below. So that's our second major story. Moving along, we have American Ninja Warrior news. Jessie Graff, it was teased online earlier this week that Jessie Graff is going to be the first woman to make it to stage 2 of the national finals for American Ninja Warrior. And Bonnie is our expert on American Ninja Warrior, and she's been following the pulse of that, and people are jazzed from what she talked about before we started this recording, and they are excited to see what is going to happen in the American Ninja Warrior world. And just from looking at online, people are excited to see this historic event take place. And as well, there's other news in the Ninja Warrior world that we have going on, is that this past weekend was the Ultimate Backyard Ninja. This event is an event that takes place twice a year. The Ultimate Backyard Ninja, it takes place on Memorial Day and Labor Day, and it's literally an obstacle race a Ninja Warrior course that takes place at a campground. They set the whole thing up. It has some of the top racers, top ninjas from the American Ninja Warrior world all competing there. So that is definitely one, and we'll be linking all of that. Make sure to check out mudrunguide.com. We'll link all the articles and all the different news stories we talk about in this podcast today. As I move on to now looking at racing around the industry, last weekend was a quieter race in the obstacle racing scene in North America, with Memorial Day weekend taking place. A lot of people decided to spend the weekend away from the obstacle race scene, heading over to barbecue and spend some time with family. But looking ahead to this weekend, the big race that most people are going to be watching here, at least in North America, is Spartan Race. Takes the next stop as the U.S. Championship Tour goes to Monterey over the weekend, with live coverage kicking off online over on Spartan Race's social media channels at 7 a.m. Pacific time. The best way, I'll give you guys a tip if you want to watch that live, I found personally from watching last time, is that head on over to YouTube, watch it on YouTube. It was a lot harder to watch it on Facebook last race, so we'll see how that is. But the coverage last race was fantastic, so hoping to see that again this weekend in Monterey as we see the top Spartan racers duke it out as part of the NBC US Championship Series. As well, Rugged Maniac heads up to Canada this weekend. Savage Race heads over to Ohio. Tough Mudders in both Kentucky and Michigan. Terrain heads to Portland, Oregon. And Conquer the Gauntlet is in Texas. Moving over to Europe, we've got Toughest in Stockholm, Sweden. The Gauntlet Games heads to Cardiff in the United Kingdom. And then taking place this weekend in Germany is the OCR EC, or OCR European Championships. It's one of the 2 European championships that happen over there. And Arnell from OCR Tube is over there. So look for a video early next week of that event that is happening. A lot of the top racers from Europe are headed there this weekend. As well, if we look over on our social media this weekend, we have Muckfest. They're going to be taking over some of our social media accounts this weekend, showing you everything that they have going on behind the scenes and at the race at Muckfest. For those that are unfamiliar with Muckfest, it's a mud run that all the proceeds go to the National MS Foundation, which helps with research and funding multiple sclerosis. So those are your top news stories this week. And again, you can check out Muckfest on our Instagram stories. And for those Thanks for tuning in to this week on our new revamped. We're testing out technology, so hopefully next week we'll get Bonnie on this and she can give us more feedback as to what is happening on the social side and what you guys have to say with what's happening in the obstacle racing world. But for now, those are your top stories this week from OCR News Weekly. Again, I'm Margaret Schlachter. This is the revamped OCR News Weekly, and you can catch us live on Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time or 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Just depends on where you are in the world. But I'm here in Mountain Time. We're live on Facebook every Friday now at 11 a.m. And if you miss our live broadcast, you can always check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, and any other radio that you like to listen to, or any other tool. So thanks everybody, and be sure to give us a little bit of feedback. Like I said, this was our first one doing this new format, and we'll continue to revamp it. So thanks again for joining, and we're going to end the broadcast here. Have a great week. Bye.